I'm a hustler, baby, but that you knew. But tonight's just about me and you.
And that is the intro to our podcast. Dane, how are you doing?
No, it isn't.
It actually is.
It is?
Yeah, we're recording.
I didn't know that.
I figured as much. Yeah, Dane. So how are you doing?
Well, oh, wait, I scrolled to the wrong thing. But
Well, we're doing great so far.
Every week, so you test out the, what's it called? The, sound of it and everything?
Yes,
right
that is
before we do
true.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always like, oh, just talk a little bit, Dane. And I usually will rap into the mic.
Yes.
And so I thought that's what we were doing again.
But little did you know, I clicked the record button because we need more clips of just Dane doing random stuff.
I love that. There's lots of clips out there just on the internet of me just doing random things.
Yes.
But
So welcome to the Until Next Week podcast.
bum, bum, bum.
This is episode number 3. It is now officially a winning streak, Dane. How does that make you feel?
That's true. Once you get to three's a streak.
Mhm.
And, I mean, we're going to go back to back to back until
Back.
all 7 billion people are listening.
Yes. We're only a few months away at this point, Dane. How does that make you feel again?
Well, I love that the people that I tell to listen to the podcast who clearly haven't listened to the podcast,
Mhm.
they're like, I'm going to listen to... No, you're not.
Yeah. Well, you're now 3 episodes behind. If you wait
Yeah.
too much longer, it'll take multiple days to catch up on episodes.
Well, really it's just their fault because they're not listening to an international podcast.
Mhm. Or wait. This just in. Until Next Week podcast has gone international, Dane. Yes. We have been listened to not only in the great country of the United States of America.
Great country.
It's amazing. I mean, I'm going to stop right there. But we also have listeners in Canada. Let's go Canada, eh?
Hey, bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Is that what they say there?
Well, they speak English, French,
Mhm.
and there's a third language they speak.
Yes. If
you know
you,
this?
for our Canadian listener out there, if you know what languages you speak up there, please leave us a 5-star review and let us know what those languages are.
Yeah. So speaking of Brendan McKenna,
Yes. Because he's actually our Canadian listener.
good friend of the podcast.
Mhm. He moved.
Yeah, not to Canada, but whenever I put it on my Instagram story, slid up
Mhm.
and said, "Is it Canadian Kyle?"
Ooh.
Remember him? Do you
I.
remember him?
Oh wait.
Kyle Hibbert?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also talked to him when the same party where we met.
Right.
Play some
Great friend
cornhole.
of the podcast.
He's
Kyle
a
Hibbert.
professional soccer player.
He is, and he might be listening to this podcast
Mhm.
right
He's
now.
going to be our first, I guess, I don't know if we would be sponsoring him
Celebrity.
or he sponsors us, but I mean, he's our celebrity listener.
First celebrity listener
Mhm.
and sponsor.
Yes.
Well, he's not a sponsor. Our sponsors are coming later, but after this, he'll probably be a sponsor.
Yeah, he'll be a sponsor next week. Kyle, thank you for sponsoring us in the future.
Yeah, so speaking of metrics, do you want to get into the metrics?
I would love to get into these metrics. Yes, we talked about our metrics last week, Dane, and I quizzed you a little bit of how many listeners we have, how many listens we have, etc. And I'm going to do the same this week. So just to
Perfect.
start us off, how many? What do you think our plays on our episode last week were?
So this isn't total listeners, this is total plays.
Actually, I'm going to take it back. What do you think our total plays is through our first 2 episodes?
Through our first 2, combined?
Yes, combined. I want to
Ooh.
know what you think it is.
40
yes.
48.
48 combined?
Yes.
We were at 33 last week.
I know.
Yeah. You're incorrect.
Higher?
Go a little higher, yes.
100.
I wish you would have guessed a little lower. Go a little lower.
99.
Yeah, okay. This is taking too long. We had 89 total plays so
That's
far.
not bad.
Our first episode is definitely beating our second episode, which is understandable. It has
That
been
makes
out a week
sense.
longer. But I believe our first episode has right around 62 plays.
62.
I know, 62. And then our second episode, Kangaroos and Dolphins, has 27 plays. So we are currently averaging around 45 plays per episode. In our last 7 days, we've had 44 unique devices or listeners to the podcast.
What does that even mean? Unique devices.
I was looking it up, and basically, this is the number of distinct devices that downloaded or streamed an episode in the last 7 days.
The robots are listening to us.
But besides that, I'm trying to see with our audience. So yeah, we have 99% United States, 1% Canada.
Bonjour.
Spotify is still our main platform. 61% of people listen on there, with 25% on Apple Podcast. 23 to 27 for our age range group is our biggest listeners right now.
Love that.
65%.
65% between 23 to 27.
Yes, but that's only on Spotify, which is still,
True.
yeah.
Only,
So,
yeah.
yeah, we're starting to get actually outside college age listeners, which is pretty cool.
I sent it to my dad. And I don't think he listened.
Well, I'm assuming he has not, because it looks like we still only have one listener over 60 plus.
Well, he's on Apple. Not Apple Music, but Apple
okay,
Podcasts.
okay.
So, yeah.
Well,
He doesn't know what Spotify is, frankly.
Yeah. But it's pretty great because also 74% of our listeners are male.
There you go. We went
Yeah,
up.
So for all you females out there, if you want to listen as well, we can send us stuff to talk about, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you on our podcast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right?
You know what I think we'll get the
Oh, no.
ladies listening?
Yes. What is that, Dane?
If we bring a lady on the podcast.
That's a great... Well, we have you, Dane.
Oh,
Oh.
you're not the first person to call me a lady in the past week.
And I bet you won't be the last.
That's true.
Mhm.
Somebody said I looked unathletic too, and I was like, it was quite the week for compliments.
Oh, man, that's really... That's honestly just great, Dane.
I didn't care.
Um,
Challenge me right now.
Okay, really quick. Super Bowl picks. Who do you
Oh.
have?
Okay. So yeah, the playoffs are starting today, actually,
Okay.
Here in
Today
about-
is Saturday.
and in about an hour, the playoffs are starting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will take, give me the.
This is great. This is really difficult.
It is
Mhm.
because there's so many teams I want to pick, and I'm like,
Mhm.
they might win, they might win. I'm just gonna be
Okay.
smart.
This is a quick Super Bowl picks. You're
Right.
taking a while.
I'm gonna take Chiefs
Mhm.
against 49ers, and I'm gonna take the rematch.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win.
Dang.
31-23.
Okay. Okay.
Is that the score of their first game?
I have no idea. I believe you follow football a little closer than I do because I'm a Packers fan. I'm still a little depressed from last week's loss. I really hope that the era of Aaron Rodgers is not over, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I changed my mind. Cowboys are going all the way. You heard it here first. Go, boys.
You heard
Let's
it here
go.
first and last because there's no chance they're winning.
We didn't, boys. This is our year.
Yeah, but I'm on a same mindset as Dane here. I have the Chiefs over the 49ers as well. I think it'll be a
Score.
little closer game. We'll go 34-31. 34-31.
Last second field goal, or it just ends up that way?
I think it just kind of ends up that way. I
get
think the Chiefs will probably start off hot, and the 49ers will come back near the end, but the Chiefs will end up holding down the score. That was, yeah. Mhm.
Super Bowl MVP. Say it at the same time. Here you go. 1, 2, 3. Patrick
Mason
Mahomes.
Crosby. He's on the Packers.
He's on the Packers.
Dang it. Not Rex Ryan. That's not the coach. Who's the coach for the Chiefs?
Andy Reid.
Yeah, Andy Reid. He is going to be the MVP, and they're going to give him a lifetime supply of whatever.
Cheeseburgers.
Yes.
He loves cheeseburgers.
He already has those.
He does?
I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he doesn't have to pay for
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah. But,
But-
he'll be the MVP.
Okay.
Either
So-
him or Casey Wolf,
Who?
the mascot.
Oh.
Yeah,
That sounds like a person's name.
yeah.
so-
I think that's either the mascot or the individual who was arrested recently who goes to games.
Or both.
It could be the same.
Yeah.
I'm not for sure.
Okay, so one of the things we're going to start doing is a quick question of the day.
No, it's actually the quick question of the Dane. You see what we did there? Because one of our hosts, Dane, is
Oh.
on the podcast.
Bonjour.
So here's our quick question of the Dane. Dane, take it away.
Okay, so the one that I wanted to ask you specifically, Samuel, was submitted to us by Isaac Rowling and Spencer Bone.
Mhm,
Shout out to
mhm.
those guys.
Shout out.
Avid listeners to the podcast. And they wanted me to ask you the best way to evade taxes. So if you will just take it away. Just please, how do you evade taxes?
That was not the first question. I wasn't expecting that.
I know.
I believe you just don't evade taxes. Don't do it.
So you're not recommending evading taxes?
I don't think that's the right way to put it. I think you can be wise with how you do your finances, and if you start a business, you can get tax breaks that way as well.
I don't know that Leonardo DiCaprio paid for anything on his Wolf of Wall Street.
We can ask him in a few weeks when he's one of our first guests on the podcast.
Second.
But
Second guest.
Oh yeah, second guest.
Yeah.
Our first guest is actually going to be Carmelo Anthony because he is currently in town. I got a picture with him last night.
Facts.
It is so true.
Well, actually, third guest, because Lars Newtbar is going to be our second guest.
Oh, yeah, he was also I did meet him as well. Dane and I both met Lars Newtbar. Yes, for
I
all you
said-
Cardinals fans out there.
I was like, hello, Mr. Lars. You do good.
Mhm.
I get so nervous around Cardinal players.
Well, no, you were fine though because it was the Cardinals caravan. Basically, there's a lot of current and former players who go around and meet with fans during this time of year. And you talked to Randy Flores for a while, and he was a
Yeah.
former player.
So he's the director of scouting, and like you want to talk about the job that I want to do? I want to have his job.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
awesome. And I was like, Mr. Flores, please give me a job.
Yeah.
He just said, what? And I said, okay, never mind.
But we'll be able to talk to him more on the podcast because he will also be our fourth guest.
Fourth.
Yes.
We need a lady, though, on
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah. So we got Lars Newbar, we got Carmelo Anthony, we have Leonardo DiCaprio, Randy Flores,
Kyle
and
Hibbert.
then Kyle Hebert,
Yep.
and then I think
Hebert.
our
You're right. It's Hebert. Yeah, you're right.
okay, I'm
I've
glad
been
I'm
saying
right.
it wrong.
Yeah. Sorry,
Sorry,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Please still come on the podcast. I
Cassidy.
care about you. But our first female guest, you heard it here first.
Oh, no.
It will be, drum roll, please.
That's not a drum roll.
Yeah,
It's going to be one of our friends.
yeah,
We're going to draw it out of a hat.
most likely.
Yeah, because of all of you that have requested to be on the podcast, there's probably like legit like 25 people.
I'm
requested
starting
be
to
on
think the
podcast.
reason our female listeners aren't as high is because you are all protesting our podcast until we have you on here personally. Because I know our female audience will jump through the roof once
Yeah.
we have one of them on the podcast.
I asked Bella Gerteaser, I said, are you
Mhm.
going to listen to the podcast? And she goes, no, I'm just waiting until next week.
Oh, okay.
So she's
okay.
banned from the
That-
podcast. is
No,
what I'm saying.
that is great. As you know, I love some puns, and that is excellent right there.
But is there another quick question of the day?
Oh yes, Dane. Would you rather be average at a lot of things or great at one thing?
So can I pick the one thing?
Yes, it's not just something random.
Well, I don't know.
Yes,
Like, it
yes,
could
you
be
can
great.
you can pick.
Okay, then I would rather be great at one thing.
Mm-hmm. What is that
And-
one thing?
Oh, there's so many things I'd love to be great at. Probably making Krabby Patties.
Ooh, that's a good one right there.
Because whenever I think of being average at one thing or great or average at a lot of things or great at one thing,
Mhm.
remember that episode of SpongeBob where him versus King Neptune and King Neptune made like
Ooh,
10,000.
iconic episode right
Yeah.
there.
But then SpongeBob made one that was
Mhm.
made with love.
Mm-hmm.
And it was clearly better than all the 1,000 or 10,000 that King Neptune had made.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh my goodness. And he tucked it in, put little pickles on there. And so I imagine the same would be for me if I became great at making Krabby Patties. What about you?
That was some excellent analysis there, Dane. I would also pick to be great at one thing, and that one thing would have to be
Tax
baseball.
evasion. Oh.
Yes, baseball. I would enjoy being a professional baseball player, and if I was great at one thing, that could be it.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I'd
it
love
would
to be
be.
a great pitcher.
Yeah,
That'd be great. I'd love that.
yeah. So you heard it here first. I would like to be a great professional athlete, and Dane would love to be great at making.
Krabby Patties.
Yes.
So, but last week we embedded a secret word.
Secret words, actually.
Secret words, yeah, into the podcast.
Mhm.
And so we have a few shout outs to give.
Oh, yes, we do. Dane, would you like to start us off here?
I'll start it out. The first one that is a shout out is Luke Funderburk.
Hey, Luke.
Hey, Luke, how you doing? What a guy. He said he was listening to it when he was flying back from St. Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
Follow him on Instagram.
Mhm.
What a guy. And Luke, if you're listening, text me because you're funny. And the second person, I don't know if I can say her name.
Why couldn't you say her name as a shout out?
I know. But so the way that it went down, let me pull up the text
Mhm.
messages
He
here.
is doing this, so I'm currently filling time until he
Okay,
says.
got
Okay,
it.
here we go. Here we go.
go. So she texted me, said, currently listening to your podcast. And she said, you need a nice jazzy intro. We're working on
Ooh.
it. Working on it. And I said, I actually texted somebody about that. I said, what do you think of it so far? And she said, flamingos. I like it. That's awesome. I don't want to shout out unless it's to set me up on a date.
Okay, we will not say her name, but
Yeah.
you know who you are.
know who
Thank
you
you
are.
for sending that message to Dane.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, like, I don't want to be all crazy and do like a whole Bachelor episode on here.
But
unless
we
do.
could.
But we could. Now we have a real life Bachelor who's volunteered to be a Bachelor for us. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's our shtick, but we're going to keep it in our bag of tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And she might be the first female on the podcast.
You heard it here first.
This person,
Might be the first.
if you're listening and you know who you are,
Mm-hmm.
text me your celebrity crush. We both know who
and
it is.
and your social security number.
Yes,
Your
social
social security number.
SSN.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
1, 2.
mine's
three.
all
Oh.
sevens.
Oh, same.
No way.
Yeah, I think we.
Same person. But what about your flamingos?
Okay. Mine are actually dolphins. I don't believe any of them actually sent me the keyword, which is a little disappointing. But I
Listen to instructions, people.
Well, one of them did listen to instructions because if you remember, I believe it was our first podcast. I mentioned about the people pineapple podcast deal, and I said if I stated whatever that was incorrectly, please correct me and send a comment and a 5-star review. And this person,
Did they do a 5-star review?
I'm not for sure because they might listen on Apple Podcast, and I have not seen how the reviews work there yet.
Right.
But they did leave an Instagram comment. Yes, that was Keaton Thomas. You can find him on Instagram, and he responded to one of our Instagram posts, which we only have one Instagram post, so you can see his comment. And he put, "People Pro Pineapple on Pizza Podcast. Patiently pondering my potential prize, a priceless painting, perhaps." Keaton, we will send that out to you shortly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we don't have many left to choose from. We've given most of them out at this point, but you get the next one for sure.
Yeah, we asked one of our sponsors at Jake Trust and Art to paint one that we could give away from the on the podcast.
Well, he's already painted several.
Yeah, as we're sitting here, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 paintings all around me.
You should change your profession because you're really good at accounting.
No, there's 2 here and 2 here, and then 2 back there.
Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, I'm like, I was thinking that as I was counting it. They're stacked on top of each other, and Samuel can't see from his perspective.
But I also do have a couple other shout-outs. The next one is for another great friend of the podcast, Joe Shine. He LOL'd at Dane saying freaking animals and our unnecessary bleepage of that.
Yeah.
He did not actually say what you thought.
Let the record show I did not curse on the air. Yes. I said frickin'.
He said freaking, and I added that unnecessary bleep in, so we hope that gave you a nice little chuckle.
No, I liked it. It was hilarious. When I heard it, I had to just pause what I was doing and laugh.
I want to give him an additional shout out. He actually is also one of the sponsors of the pod with his at Joe Knows Finance Instagram account. He has nearly 3,000 followers on there, and he hasn't posted in about a year. But if enough of you follow him, I'm sure he will post something. So for all your finance needs, follow at Joe Knows Finance on Instagram. And then finally, we have Ben Sullivan from Tennessee. I think that might be our first Tennessee listener.
Unless it's Brendan McKenna.
Is he in Tennessee?
Yeah, he moved to Knoxville. That's where he's working.
You might be. So I don't know.
One of you two are.
We have not got confirmation if Brendan has listened. So I'm going to say, Ben, you are our first listener. Thank you.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. If you go to a different country, make sure to listen to us so we'll have more international listeners.
#need that.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. Love all of you supporters. And if you text us the new code word, which will be...
Bananas.
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 We're going to have to cut that out. But if you text us bananas and then your favorite ice cream topping, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast.
But it cannot be bananas.
Cannot be bananas.
It has to be bananas for the code word, but your favorite topping cannot be bananas.
Correct. Okay. So then on to our first segment here.
Yes, this is our New Year's resolutions because, Dane, it is 2023.
Wow. Who thought we'd make it? Remember when the Mayan calendar ran out in 2012 and the world was supposed to end?
I knew it would not end because I had not created a podcast yet. Hey, Dane. What is one of your New Year's resolutions?
Well, I'm glad you asked. My New Year's resolution is the same as it was in 2022.
Okay, let's go.
And it's to be more toxic.
Oh, you're doing a great job so far, Dane.
I need to start gaslighting more people. I need to start, I don't know, just being everything that Instagram wants me to be.
Do you have a Twitter account?
I do have a Twitter account.
That's a great way to gaslight.
I can subtweet people, LeBron James.
Oh, snap.
Just like Skip Bayless. I want to be the way Skip Bayless is towards LeBron, but to normal people.
This is amazing. Dane, you have your goals set high for this year.
I know, being more toxic.
Is there any other ways you might be more toxic this year?
Yeah, I've been telling people that I'll slash their tires. Not actually going to do that.
Okay.
But whenever people are like, "Oh, do this day," and I'm like, you know what? If you say that or do that one more time, I'm going to slash your tires or pour sugar in your gas tank or something like that.
And then you invite him to church on Sunday.
And then you invite them on church on
Yes.
Sunday. And we're all there just having a good laugh.
We are all sinners, and Dane is no exception.
Jesus Christ paid for our sin. Theos.
And
What?
he's one of our sponsors this
Oh,
week.
Jesus is one of our
But
sponsors.
we'll talk
yeah.
about that more. But
Yeah. Love that guy.
he's the reason for the season.
He is the reason for the season. But all of that was pretty well jokey. My real like
New Year's
New
resolution.
Year's resolution is to be more ambitious.
Ooh, but how can you make that quantifiable? Because that
True.
seems pretty general. And if you just say ambitious,
Yeah.
it probably won't do anything.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Quantifiably speaking,
Yes.
I want to save more money, live better Walmart.
Okay, but you can't just say save
Why not?
more money. It's got to be
Fine.
quantifiable.
Fine. I want to buy a new car.
Okay.
A truck.
Okay.
Specifically because my transmission is going out of my car currently.
Now this is going to make it happen. Give us more details.
Mr. Make It Happen.
Okay.
So yeah, my car is trying to break down on me, and
Mhm.
then I'm gonna be like, hey, I need a new car. I can finally get the truck that I want, and it'll be great. If I win more fantasy football leagues, maybe I'll be able to buy it.
See, you should have said earlier, instead of being great at making Krabby Patties, you should have been great at winning all your fantasy football leagues.
I should have won more, but I keep getting whatever, dude.
I might have to add some unnecessary bleepage on that. So
Screwed. You should. I
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
getting.
yeah, yes. So just so you know, the bleep we just added was
It was a bad word, guys.
it was horrible.
Don't say it around your dogs.
We're trying not to get canceled, but Dane is taking the lead.
That's my New Year's resolution, to get canceled.
yes. So those are more quantifiable. I do
Yeah.
enjoy those New
But
Year's resolutions, Dane.
let's talk about your New Year's resolution. Do you have one?
So originally, in the past, I'd usually maybe make some sort of list or just say, hey, I'll do blank better. But this year I didn't really do that, and I wasn't really for sure what my New Year's resolution would be until I made it here today. And I think for a quantifiable New Year's resolution is just to keep on making this podcast. We started it last year. We started in 2022. It is now 2023. I want to keep it a weekly thing with Dane. I want our listeners to grow.
To the millions.
Yes, millions. So that way it's quantifiable. But yeah, just keep posting I say Monday morning, but a lot of times I post this on Sunday night.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm excited to do this alongside with Dane.
So excited. I would love to actually just get to like 100 this year. That'd be awesome.
100.
Listeners.
Well, we're at like 44. So I hope we're much higher than 100 if we're doing this every week.
Well, listen, this is like I say at work.
Yes.
If you set the bar low, you'll probably meet it.
Yes. I if we do this every week, I would not be surprised if we have at least 500 listeners.
That'd be awesome.
And I could see it potentially being higher as well. Because I think we will only get better at this, and we keep it a weekly thing.
True.
If
You want to know what
grow.
I actually teach the people that are underneath me at work?
I would love to hear that, Dane.
So they like get hired on and everything, and
Mhm.
then they're like, okay, so like, what's something you need to know about the job? And I say, well, there's 3 rules.
Oh, what are those 3
You
rules,
can't break
Dane?
these 3 rules.
What happens if you break the rules?
Well, you get fired.
Ooh.
You're done. You're out of here.
Okay, I
You
thought it was going to be
down.
the death penalty.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Oh, and away we will. Just keep listening.
Keep listening.
Okay.
But rule number 1, don't think. Thinking gets you in trouble.
Okay, that's good.
Because they'll be like, Dane, should we do this? You know, I was thinking we should do this. And I said, it sounds like you were thinking.
Okay, so I think your first rule might be based off of one of your favorite St. Louis Cardinal players, Jack Flaherty,
Shout out to
starting
Jack.
pitcher. I believe his
Good friend of the show.
Yes, great. Hey, you'll be our 6th. You'll be a call-in guest. I don't know if we'll be able to get you in here anytime soon, but you can call in for sure.
My biggest hater wants to be a call-in guest.
We can discuss them next week.
Right.
Yes. But Jack Flaherty, I know that he typically uses the phrase #don't think.
He does say that.
And I don't know a ton behind it, so we'll wait for him to get on the pod to discuss it more.
Hate to speculate.
But yeah, that's just a fun little fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rule number 2,
Yes, what is it?
always have a road snack and drink.
Oh,
Because
yes.
you're going to be out for a while, you're going to get thirsty, you're going to get hungry, and then you
Mhm.
get crabby, and then you're no fun to work with.
And then you get cramps.
Yeah, and then you get cramps. And then it's just like, you know what? Nobody's having a good time now
Yep,
because you're already
yep.
at work. And so, yeah. But then the third rule is never, under any circumstances, unless absolutely necessary, ask a question.
No questions.
Because if you ask a question, guess who that gets you? more work.
Ooh.
It really does.
Okay.
Like all these rules are actual things.
Okay.
Because I keep telling people at work, they're like, yeah, I think we should do this and that. And I'm like, no, what you should do is what you're told to do. And that's so true. We're not paid to think. We're paid to work.
You heard it here first. Whatever Dane just said, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
I can't remember what he said.
I said a lot of things.
Yeah.
But-
Yep. So
Okay.
Dane.
Yes.
Dane.
Yes.
I think this actually is a good transition because you're just talking about your 3 rules at work.
Yeah.
And I believe earlier this week you told me about some prank wars that might have been happening
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
Would you like to go into some more details?
Well, I'm a victim of a crime.
Oh, snap. You heard it. Oh, no. Dane, are you okay?
I think I am.
Okay, but yeah, what was this crime?
So, long ago, there's a guy at my work who shall remain nameless.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my other coworkers pranked him like slightly, and then he did something crazy to them.
Yes.
So then I may
Slashed his tires.
no. I may have assisted in saran wrapping his chair.
Okay. Was he in the chair at the time?
No, he
Okay.
was left. He left and was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so he always does stuff like this, where he'll like come by and like flip your keyboard upside down or
Mhm.
unplug your monitors or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
So then he works from home on Fridays. So
Okay. You broke into his house.
no,
Okay.
no. We don't condone felonies. Is that felony?
But you are trying to be more toxic this
That's
year.
true.
Yeah.
That's-
So
what
maybe
a-
not last year or whenever you did this, like a week ago,
Right.
but you are going to be
Right.
more toxic in the future.
Last
so break
year-
into his
yeah.
house, slash his tires, and then just
sugar in
prank
his
him,
gas
burn down
tank.
his house.
Arson is my favorite felony.
Mm-hmm.
Last year was misdemeanor toxic. This year's felony toxic.
This is quality stuff right here. But yeah, Dayton, what did you do?
So he was gone. He's gone on Fridays. So
Mhm.
then we have a paper shredder, and I took like a little bit of the paper shreds and
Yeah.
put it around his keyboard, and like, haha, tee hee hee. And enough to where you can just like sweep it into the trash can with
Mhm.
your hand and everything.
Yeah.
And then I went to lunch on Wednesday, came back, and he had taken the entire paper shredder and dumped
No.
all of it
No.
all over my desk.
No. Oh,
Like all over it.
Dane.
And if you follow our Instagram, we'll post that on
Yeah,
Instagram.
the
but I took a picture of it.
Until Next Week podcast, make sure to we'll actually make it a normal post, so
Yeah.
it won't just be a story. So whenever you listen to this, you'll actually be able to look back for reference.
You'll have reference, and then we'll put the time in the podcast where we were talking about this,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be able to get the reference to it.
Yeah,
Because
and then-
he did that, and then now, and this is the guy. So this guy, what he also does
Mm-hmm.
is he took a picture of himself
Okay.
and sent that picture off to a poster printing company and
Mhm.
printed a poster of himself and
Yes.
hangs it up over his desk at work.
Can I have a copy?
No.
We could give those out to listeners on the pod.
copies.
Signed copies.
I'm gonna tell him that I mentioned him on the podcast.
Yeah, now he'll have to listen.
He
So
will,
if
yeah.
you're listening, because we have not said your name and I don't
Yeah.
know who you are, I love you.
He's a funny guy though.
Mhm.
And so on Friday, whenever he had left again,
Yes.
I printed out a picture of myself, cut my head out of the picture, and
Okay.
taped it over his head. And now he's gonna come in and see it at work on Monday, and he's gonna be
Be like, man, I look a lot better than usual.
I mean, I'm not. I have hair and he doesn't. So
Yeah. Oh, we're narrowing down who this may be.
that's true. A bald-headed individual who's a Chiefs fan. And
Was it Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
yeah, close, but no.
Okay,
I don't know if
okay.
he's a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, he would want to put his head on your body.
Yeah. And so now we started prank wars, and I had to walk this line of like doing something really funny
Mhm.
and inconvenient, but also not enough to get fired or hurting
Yes,
somebody.
yes.
So it's just very Dwight Schrute like.
Yeah, I look forward to potentially weekly or bi-weekly updates on how the prank wars are going, Dane.
Yeah.
It sounds like some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, just make sure to look on the Until Next Week podcast to see the
The photo.
the
of
photo.
the prank.
Yeah.
So, I told you earlier in the quick question that we had a special request from Spencer
Yes.
Bone and Isaac Rowling.
Yes.
And he said, or they wanted me to have you do a deep dive into my finances and expenditures. And so I want
Do you have your bank statements so I can look at them?
I sure do. I made over $32
Oh wow,
last
there's
year.
a lot. Okay. You need to give me some highlights on some of the stuff you spent your money on, Dane. I cannot look through
Oh.
all those papers right now.
Well, do you see where I went into the negatives over here?
Yeah, it's on most of the papers.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all the red ones. And
Okay.
do you see this first one for a yacht?
Yes, I do.
Well, I bought that and it sank almost immediately.
What are you doing, Dane?
To help-
Was that the yacht that the Amazon founder, what's his name?
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, is that the one that was stuck like in that random river in the middle of like Chicago?
I know what you're talking about. It was a canal.
Okay, yeah.
But
was that
no,
the one you bought?
It wasn't that one.
Okay.
We did get stuck in a different canal, though.
But you just had to sink it. So I guess you're unstuck in a way.
Well, yeah, in a way.
Mhm.
But it was not sank by me. It was sank by one of my rivals.
Did you at least buy this with a credit card?
Why would I buy it with a credit card? My dad told me not to get credit cards.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's valid. Dave Ramsey told me the same thing.
That's true. Dave Ramsey ruined Christmas.
He will be the 7th guest on the podcast.
Yeah, and I can tell him how he ruined Christmas.
Yeah, but what else do you have to say about your financial endeavors?
Well, I also was looking into getting a private jet, but
Yes.
upon applying to get the loan for the private jet, they
Yes.
said, Mr. Biesmeyer, you're wanted in 27 states.
For a second, I thought you said Mr. Beast. I mean, that could
That
be a
too,
way
that
you
too.
could get the free jet because he has given away a jet in the past.
Oh,
Bye.
man.
See ya.
My roommate just left.
But he
And
gave us a nice little smile ahead of time. So
He gave us something.
yeah, I just got to give him a quick. Here, you give him a quick shout out.
At Jake Trustin Art,
Yes,
we're giving away one of his paintings
Mhm.
To the 100th listener.
Yes, 100th listener.
Yeah.
But also, something that Jake did this week is when I walked in to record this podcast with you, Dane,
Yeah.
he told me just how much he enjoyed last week's episode. And, that was very
It's true.
encouraging. He's an encouraging guy.
He is.
And I'm just looking forward to just keep making this podcast better week by week. And as long as Dane isn't super toxic and destroys this, we
Sorry,
should be good to
ladies.
go.
Jake's off the market.
Ooh!
He's engaged. But also, the guy who I mentioned earlier, Isaac
Mhm.
Rolling,
Yes.
his lady friend,
Yes.
Morgan Dolph,
Ooh.
is semi-TikTok famous.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of semi does she drive?
Dang it. But she got Taylor Swift to comment on one of her posts.
Can Taylor Swift be another guest on the pod?
I would love to have Taylor Swift on the podcast. We can ask her the hard-hitting questions like,
Why we're never, ever, ever getting back together.
yeah, why would you rule somebody out when
Mhm.
growth can happen?
Yeah, because you don't want that bad blood to be between one another.
One more Taylor Swift song and I'll believe you.
Hey, shake it off. Oh.
You did that one last week. You gotta do a different
Did I
one.
actually?
Yeah, you did shake it off last
I
week.
was listening to some Taylor Swift earlier, and all I got
What's your
is
favorite?
I don't know. I mean,
I know my favorite.
there's a lot to choose from. Maybe if I can just get out of the woods of my mind right now, I'd be able to think of what that might be.
I hate you.
No, I like a lot of her original stuff.
Yeah, her country music is great.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of her stuff is good through, I think it was 1989. I still was enjoying the
89 was
albums
good.
a lot.
Yep.
Reputation, I was kind of hit or miss. Some songs were real big bops, and other ones I was like, Taylor, you should keep that dress on.
What?
She has a song called Dress, and I was like,
Oh.
that's not the Taylor Swift I know. But
yeah, the one singing 15 about falling in love with a guy.
yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's okay.
That's a good song. I like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Her country music was great, and then like you said, through 89 was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite song by
Love
her,
Story.
not that one.
It actually is really good, though.
It is really good.
It's a
Yes,
bop,
I like
yeah.
it. But is that your favorite?
So yeah, one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs
Yep.
is Love Story. The reason that I love that story of a song so much is because
Dang it.
that was a transition right there. I used to work at Kanaka camps, and would usually have the same like 8 to 12 songs, especially when I was a camper. And Love Story by Taylor Swift was usually one of the last ones, and all us campers and counselors would get
Yes.
super hype.
Yes.
Super hype on the
Yes.
song. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where
Oh,
they
you
yell-
got puns too.
Well, yeah, where
Yeah.
they're like Rome or Juliet,
and then they
just
say yes, yes,
and
yes,
y'all
yeah.
chant. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that at the end instead of closing time. If you
Mhm.
play closing time at the end of your
That's not
party,
exciting.
No, it makes me mad nowadays.
Yeah, now it's just like, okay, now we want to leave. We don't want
Yeah.
to listen to this.
First off, it's not a good song.
Yeah, it's not one of Taylor Swift's best.
Yeah. Dang it. But my favorite song by Taylor Swift, this is controversial.
Okay, what is it?
It's All Too Well, not the 10-minute version,
Okay.
and not Taylor's version. The original All Too
That's
Well.
good because I think in the 10-minute version she might cuss, and I
Yeah.
would have to bleep that
She
out.
said the patriarchy.
Oh, Dane, I didn't think you would say that word. He is just got a potty mouth today.
Be more toxic.
He's doing a great job of being more toxic.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. So what's our next topic, Samuel?
Okay, so now we're going to talk about some gun control. So,
Oh.
Dane, what is your best youth achievement?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Mm-hmm.
So my best youth achievement, and it's not even my best youth achievement, it's just my best achievement overall.
Yeah,
I love it.
You tell me
love
a
it.
little bit about it.
So in 5th grade,
Okay.
I was the starting quarterback on this team that went 5-0-1, and we
Okay.
won the local city. Well, we didn't win the championship, but we ended first in the standings.
I mean, I don't know how you could beat that. Like,
I'm
that's
saying.
that's a big accomplishment.
And I was also starting point guard and starting pitcher that year.
Don't you still have that in your Instagram bio?
I mean, I should.
Okay,
if I
yeah.
don't,
You should add that back there. So
I'll put it back there. If
Mhm,
you can
mhm.
tell me what my Instagram actually or bio actually says, people will give you a shout out.
yeah, but also you have to leave us a 5-star review if you
5-star.
really want that shout out. But 5-star review and actually leave like a comment and like review about our podcast.
Yeah.
So click the 5 stars, but then tell us something amazing that you love about this podcast, or that you love about yourself,
True.
or that you love about anything, or if you just hate everything about us, leave us a 5-star review and let us know why you hate us.
You want to know a fun story of what happened in 5th grade basketball?
Tell me some more.
I was ejected.
Ejected.
Yeah, I was ejected from
Yeah.
a 5th grade basketball game.
Okay, is that also one of your biggest achievements?
I mean, yeah, I've always wanted to get ejected out of places.
See, I mean, and now I can kind of understand why your New Year's resolution is to be more toxic, because honestly, you were the most toxic back when you were like in 5th grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was dribbling down the court as a
Mhm.
point guard,
Mhm.
and then this guy comes up in my face and is like trying to steal the ball from me. And then I see one of my teammates behind him,
Yeah.
and so I try to bounce pass between his legs.
Okay.
And
Okay. Try to
he-
nutmeg him.
Yeah, trying to nutmeg him.
Yep.
And whenever I threw it, he shifted down, and I hit him. in a
You
bad
literally
area.
nutmegged him.
I literally nutmegged him, and he hit the ground, and then I was
Oh.
ejected.
Oh,
And
toxic 5th grade Dane.
Everybody was laughing, but I was
but not him.
I was
He
not laughing either. I wanted to keep playing.
Yeah. So you were crying for a different reason. You're like, I want to play
Yeah.
basketball. The other guy could not. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, but sorry.
I'm sorry.
whoever
If you're a
you were.
listener to the pod, please leave us a 5-star review and give us your top 5 reasons why Dane ruined your life.
Yeah. My other crowning achievement from my
Mhm,
past is in my senior year of high school. There's
Okay,
these things
okay.
called the Seal of Excellence Awards.
Ooh.
And you get it for having like the best grades in a certain subject.
Oh, I thought you were a pet trainer.
Nope. And, so I received an invitation to the award ceremony, and I was
Mhm.
like, they sent this to the wrong house. I had,
Well, they might have just invited you to
Yeah.
go so you could see your better peers.
Yeah. Because, all the people that I hung out with in high school were
Mhm.
all great, like, scholars and, like, had
Mhm.
great GPAs and everything.
Mark Zuckerberg was one of them.
True. And I brought the team down, though. I was enough to be eligible for sports, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And so upon receiving the Seal of Excellence invite, I was like, this is the wrong house. Like, they
Mhm.
sent it to me by accident. But as I opened it, it said, you have been selected to receive the Seal of Excellence for physical education.
Hey.
And I was like, wait a second. Yeah, I had a 4.0 in all PE
Mhm.
classes,
Mhm.
and I showed up every day, and the PE coach liked me, so he nominated me, and I
Oh.
won it. I still have
Oh.
it. It's on our mantle here. It's
That is
great.
awesome. It sounds like an award would used to give out at camp. Typically, at the end of each term, we would have to give different campers like an award to say something that maybe they strived at during the week. And there's always one award that was basically just the one that no one wanted. And it was just like, you're super excited, like all the time. You have tons of energy. Like there's not really any other super redeeming qualities about yourself, but you have energy. And let me tell you, it was.
How many times did you win it?
I never won it, but I
Oh.
did have a camper. I guess it wasn't my camper. It was when I was a camper, one of the other guys in my cabin. I think he got it like multiple years in a row, and he like kept on saying like, "Don't give it to me this year." Like he's just like, "My mom doesn't want to see that award again." So I think he talked our counselors out of giving him that award, and I don't
Lame.
think they gave it to anybody, but he deserved it.
Lame. Just give it to him.
Yeah.
But what about yours? What's your crowning achievement from your youth or currently?
Okay. I mean, my biggest achievement in general was probably, I think it was in 2009. I was 12 years old, and I was filling in for a baseball team. I believe it was called the Southside something or another.
Southside?
Yep. But I was filling in for their baseball team, and I am a tall fellow, so I was already like
How tall?
towering over everybody. I mean, I'm 6'6" now, so you can imagine I was pretty tall as a young lad as
I'm
well.
also 6'6".
Yep. You just can't tell because he's always sitting for the pictures that we
True.
post for the picture we posted on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I was filling in for this team for like the first like big tournament I've ever done because typically I would usually play like 7 to 15 games in a year. But this team needed a fill-in, so I was like, shoot, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I filled in. We had like batting practice the first day, and I was killing the ball. And then everybody's like, ooh, we like this guy.
Murder.
Yep. So that gave me some confidence. And I think the first games that I played the first day, I was probably batting 9th or 10th. But then the second day, they
You
moved.
can't bat 10th.
You can when you're like 12 years old because they want everybody to
The
bat.
whole team.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
But the second day, because I hit so well the first game, they moved me up to 5th in the lineup, I believe. 4th or 5th, one of those. And I came up to bat, my first at bat of that game, and the bases were loaded. Let me tell
Bases
you,
juiced.
I smoked
2
the
outs.
ball deep left field. I went Aaron Judge on that.
Going.
Gone. Yeah, that was my
Gone.
first career home run, which happened to be
Wow.
a grand slam. I gave us a quick
Man.
lead, and everybody went nuts. I remember it vividly, and that is my biggest achievement
Wow.
ever.
Grand salami. For
And we end up
Slimity Slam.
losing the game because some coaches don't know how to send the guy from third home because I would have had the game-winning hit, I believe, also, or at least the
Wow.
game-tying hit because there's a guy on second that hit the ball to the outfield, and they stopped him at third, and then no one scored. I still regret that decision by you to this day. I don't remember who the coach was, but if you're listening, please leave us a 5-star review and let us know your thoughts on that home run.
If there's anything I know is you always send them. Full send.
Yeah,
always
definitely.
send. Yeah.
One less achievement, but it's also one of the biggest highlights of my life was when I was in high school. I was nominated for LPA Court, which is the Ladies Pay All dance, which is also known as Sadie Hawkins. Ooh, yes, and I was a senior.
A
So,
lady.
Being nominated for that court, you have your fellow peers vote for who should be the king. And let me tell you, I did some campaigning, and I won that.
That's
It
right.
was- I was so pumped. I got a crown that I still have on display to this day. I got some medals.
What
and
color
then-
is the crown?
It's just like a king's crown. So it's
King-
like red and gold and stuff.
So you have a red and gold crown that you color with?
Oh, yeah, actually, that's what it was.
A Crayola.
Yeah, they put it on my head, but it fell off pretty quickly. But that right afterwards, they legit interviewed me. And the first, they asked, how are you feeling now? And no joke, my
Saucy.
words were, I have hit my peak. It all goes downhill from here. Those are my words.
Love that.
It is still so true. Those are the 2 peaks of my life. And let me tell you, they meant a lot to me.
Wow, I love that. High school was the time where we all thrived.
Well,
Except for
also
if
when
you
we
didn't.
were 12.
True. 12 is, I
Yeah.
can't get better.
It's
than
a roller coaster. We hit the peak when we were 12, and then we went down for a bit. Hit the peak when we were in high school, went down for a bit, and now we're on the podcast. So we're
Peaking
back to
again.
that third peak.
that. Yeah, we
Yes.
are. It's just like a mountain range, really.
Mhm.
But after that, is there anything else we want to talk about, Sam?
That was we are really killing these transitions.
Yeah.
But I think at this point we're over 40 minutes. I think
That's pretty good.
I think we just need to go into our sponsors of the week.
Yeah, sponsors of the week here. Number one, first and foremost, number one in your programs, number one in your heart.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, he
Love
is
that guy.
again our sponsor. We do love him. We do. I there's no words to really describe how much we love him.
We do it
And
for him.
Now that he's a sponsor of the podcast and
Love that.
sponsor really of our lives in general.
Technically, he gave us money because he gave us the money that we have.
He
to buy
paid it
this.
all.
He paid it all, too.
Yes.
And our next our sponsor is Jake.
Honestly, one second. We
Go
don't
ahead.
really need other sponsors when we have Jesus,
That's a good
but
point.
you did write down 2 others,
That's true.
so you can go into number 2 and 3.
Number 2 is
Yes.
probably he does it week after week.
We've
He-
already mentioned him once on the
we've
podcast.
already mentioned him once, but he provided this house, this lights, Jake Trust and Art, and he's going to give away one painting to the 100th listener.
Because at this
Maybe.
point, he only has one painting left. We've already sent all you other listeners your paintings, so you should be expecting those anytime now.
Facts.
But for the one painting he does have left, that will go to our 100th individual listener,
Maybe.
which we're getting close to. So just keep listening. If you have female friends, please tell them because they don't love us currently.
Nice. But
Mhm.
then our third
Okay, Dane, I did not sign off on this sponsor.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Our third one is the Dallas Cowboys because we are them boys and we're going to win it all this year. Dak's not going to throw any interceptions. We're going to beat the Buccaneers on Monday night, and y'all are going to rue the day when I text every one of my contacts every day after the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
They are going to lose their first game.
No,
Dane.
it's not happening.
It's going to
You
happen.
can't tell me it's going to happen.
Dak is going to like tear
No.
something else.
Nope.
I don't know what it's going to be. And then somehow Jerry Jones will go down there and be like, okay, I'll be the quarterback now.
No. Dak's going to have 4 touchdowns. Zeke's going to have an
8
excellent game.
interceptions.
Zeke cannot throw interceptions, probably.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, he could.
He could.
Trick
yeah,
plays.
He could, yeah. But, yeah, Cowboys are just going to get it done. I believe it. If they don't, do not contact me.
But you can contact me with a 5-star review.
Right.
Let us just know your feelings on why the Cowboys are a great sponsor for the pod,
Great sponsor.
but a greatly awful football team in every
But
sense of the word. And
no.
also, Dane, he is wearing a Dallas Cowboys sweatshirt today.
Sure am. I have more Dallas Cowboys.
Make sure
stuff than
to
anything.
watch our YouTube link so you can see all this great content as
Right.
well. If you look hard enough, you might find it. If you do find it, let us know so we also will know about it. And yeah,
Any last thoughts, Samuel?
you know, I'm just grateful to have you, Dane, as a close companion.
I love you.
And I'm going to tear up. But
All right, people. Have your pet spayed and neutered. We'll see you next week.
oh, we'll see you.
Until next week.
Podcast.